A very warm welcome to all the new subscribers and lots of love and regards, as always, to all the existing ones. I hope everyone is doing well. And as you may have guessed from the title, in this audio message, we will be discussing about certain ascension symptoms and certain massive shakeups that we can expect in the last 6 months of 2020. And before I get to the message, I just want to say that whenever I end up giving a prediction or specify certain months, it's simply coming from a place of my higher self, my intuition, and therefore, just in case my audio message or my energy update in any way does not resonate with someone, it's perfectly fine. But I definitely thank those people who take out their time to listen to me. So, thank you very much for all your love. And it truly is a huge honor being a twin flame. I want to start the message by speaking about Amrit Vela. Now, what exactly is Amrit Vela? When the rays of the sun hit the earth at a 60-degree angle, at that point, there is vast amounts of prana or life force energy that is available to us. So the time between 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. is also known as Amrit Vela, which rules the heart chakra and not the mind. And therefore, if you notice, when you end up waking at odd hours like 333 or 444 or 555 without any alarm clock, it's your soul, your higher self that's waking you up at that point, during that Amrit Vela and encouraging you to wake up and meditate or sit in contemplation, basically to get into your heart space, because this is truly a very sacred and a peaceful time. And therefore, the more you get into your spirituality and the more you embrace your science and your spiritual knowledge, you'll just see that you'll grow by leaps and bounds. Now, obviously, each person's awakening, spiritual awakening, and the twin flame path experience is totally unique. But what happens is that there are certain patterns that frequently occur. And because this journey is a journey about dropping the ego and coming into the heart center or coming into the 5D consciousness, which is that of unconditional love. So, what happens is that when the ego cracks open, that's when things begin to turn messy or confusing or painful. And there is so much uncertainty about everything. You may suddenly be asking yourself that who am I and what am I supposed to do now, uh, where what is the purpose of my life, and do I have a free will, and who created all of this, and why is this happening to me, or why do people suffer, and so many questions that can actually make you go bonkers sometimes. But the first thing to understand is that you are not alone, and every person who has been through this path has gone through bouts of depression and low phases wherein they just feel that they are not going anywhere. So, all I'm trying to say is that it is perfectly natural to feel this way. And as awkward and uncomfortable as it feels to start questioning everything, it is a clear sign that you are evolving, and trying to come back into aligning with your real self. In other words, the process of deprogramming has begun. And if you have spent a majority of your life thinking about yourself in one way, or how you were taught to be a certain way, then because of this process, everything begins falling apart. And it's no surprise, therefore, that you end up feeling a lot of pain and confusion and hurt, because your foundation has suddenly been knocked down, causing you to feel very unstable and without a sense of belonging. And therefore, you may feel fearful and insecure about your ability to go back to a normal way of being. And it's because the ego self is basically trying to grasp that which was familiar, but the fact is that those days are over now, and you have expanded your awareness. And once you expand your awareness, or once you have awakened, you cannot go back to an unawakened state, right? So before we look at some of the ascension symptoms, I just want everyone to understand that in a population of 8 billion, it's not humanly possible that everyone is going to awaken at the same time, right? Your process of awakening can be polar opposite to mine, and my process of awakening can be polar opposite to somebody else's. So no person's awakening process is the same, but during this awakening process, the symptoms and the confusion that we go through will be pretty common at some point or the other. And real teachers, whether they are spiritual teachers or any teacher, a real teacher will never mislead you or keep you hooked onto their videos by manipulating your emotions, or posting daily messages about your masculine twins, because that is not how anyone grows. Of course, we all go through certain stages that, when we are new on the path, maybe for 2 or 3 months we are just glued to listening to twin flame messages, but we have to outgrow that after some time, because that's how real progress begins. But of course, if you don't realize this today, you will in time see that true growth happens outside of your comfort zone. And no teacher is going to exploit you or your emotions by sugarcoating things and only saying things that please you all the time. And my only request to you, therefore, is to not blindly follow anyone and use your inner voice instead to guide you. Because once you learn to confront and face reality, which many a times is extremely harsh and painful, you will notice in time that that is in fact what was the doorway to your happiness and freedom. Having said that, what can you expect in the coming 6 months? I just want to make it very clear that now I will be sharing these symptoms, ascension symptoms. And please note that between now and December 2020, expect to feel all of these symptoms or some of these symptoms in intervals. Okay, so what that means is that today you might be feeling absolutely fine and happy and at peace and everything. You feel like you're on top of the world, but suddenly after 1 week, you might feel that you have no energy left, and your life is falling apart. So, this sort of an oscillation or an up and down in emotions, please expect that. And the reason I'm sharing this audio message is that once you hear it, it will sort of mentally prepare you in advance to accept, to accept the situation, and also to expect what can happen in the coming 6 months and in your spiritual journey, so that 2 months down the line, if something like this comes up, you will know how to tackle it and you will not be bothered by it. So some of the ascension or awakening symptoms that everyone goes through, either all or some of them, could be extreme fatigue or body aches, extreme tiredness, feeling like you are totally down, you have no energy left, and you don't want to do anything. Sometimes there can be slight pains, like a pricking sort of a pain, either in your joints or in your lungs, or maybe around your wrists or at the tip of your shoulders, because again, the body is basically releasing and clearing and adjusting to the higher light that's coming into each and every person right now. So when this sort of a recalibration occurs, you can really, each person will have some sort of a different reaction to it. And some people end up having skin rashes, but not all of them, right? some people are going to have extreme mood swings, so feeling on top of the world one moment and then suddenly feeling down in the dumps the next moment. At times, it can be your emotions, but at times you could be picking on the sadness of your twin. And again, some people get really, really hyper, and they start over analyzing that what does this mean and why does this happen, or my twin is crying and I am crying, are they my tears or are they theirs? The main thing is that I can assure you that your twin, wherever he or she is also undergoing, you know a lot of these symptoms. But like I said, it's not necessary that they have to awaken at the same time as you, or they have to speak about the twin flame concept, because each person's journey is different. So whenever any uncomfortable feeling comes up, you just have to embrace it, cry it out, and not overanalyze, and understand that between now and the coming 6 months, it is very natural to have these bouts of emotions and negativity coming to the surface. Some people can suddenly start feeling very isolated, like, my world has ended, I'm all alone, I feel helpless, crying out of the blues. Like, I can remember long ago, I believe 2 years ago, I was totally fine, and then suddenly I started having such a terrible pain in my, like, the crown center, and it was as if those numerous needles are just pricking on me. And I was just sitting on my bed for 2 hours and my tears were trickling down, and I just couldn't do anything, but I was just crying and releasing and feeling that pain, because that pain was so bad, no medicine could treat it. So all I'm trying to say is that everyone is going to face something or the other, but just embrace it and know that it is part of your healing process. A lot of people have sleep issues. There are days when I have slept for 4 4 3 3 days non-stop, day and night, and I just allowed myself that kind of a sleep, because I really didn't have any kind of energy in my body. So some people will see that they suddenly want to sleep a lot, while others can feel that they are not able to sleep at all. Again, this will happen in phases, and not that today when I'm speaking of it you have to experience it. It could happen any time between now and these 6 months. Waking up at odd hours that I spoke about, lucid dreams, psychic gifts opening up. Some people, because they have to become light language experts, they start hearing certain light language. At first, they don't know how to comprehend that, but as they meditate and tune in with their higher self and their team of guides, they begin channeling that information, and what it means. Some people will start having access to akashic records. And I mean, whatever it is that you are meant to do, and any sort of messages that you are supposed to get in your dream state or otherwise, you will receive those. Some people also have heart palpitations. They feel like they're going to have a heart attack and die, and there's sudden, like, a pricking sensation in the heart center. Some people, they have a pain in the jawline and migraines. And I had even mentioned about amygdala healing in one of my previous messages. Basically, the fear center, and in our brain, basically it's the third eye and the crown chakra that is opening up and healing, and that's when these sorts of pains occur. You can also feel a lot of heat and cold sensation in your body. Suddenly your feet are turning cold, or you're feeling cold, and even if it might be hot outside, or vice versa, ringing in the ears, or seeing constant reminders of your twin and number sequences, like I mentioned. My only request is that, again, whenever you see reminders of your twin or number sequences, just be happy that it's like a reminder from the universe, and there is no need to get hassled, or imply that, okay, just because I'm seeing a reminder of my twin, it means that a romantic physical union has to happen, because it never works like that, you know. So even if you turn 80 years old, these signs and number sequences will be a part of our life. So please get comfortable with that. Now, having said that, what are some of the ways to cope with these ascension symptoms in, you know, between now and the coming 6 months? All I can tell you is that understand and accept that this is going to be a regular part of your life. And therefore, point number one would be that do not resist these symptoms. Embrace whatever feeling is coming to the surface. Like I said, if you cannot sleep, then don't sleep. If you want to sleep, go to sleep. If you want to cry, cry it out. And if you don't want to cry, then just chill and relax, you know. Point number three would be to not panic at all. Remember that every twin and every person who's on the path of awakening does go through these uncomfortable feelings. So you are not alone, and therefore there is no need to panic. It's very normal to face these sort of signs and symptoms, because by embracing, you are actually releasing a lot, you know. You are, and you will see that when you stop resisting and when you embrace these uncomfortable feelings each time, it only makes you stronger, and the next wave, when it hits you, you are more equipped to sort of deal with it, right? So if you don't want to do anything, just don't do anything. Feels, you know, whatever feels right to you, you do that. And in other words, the energies at the moment and in the coming 6 months are going to be so intense that getting plenty of rest is very important. Okay, so please make sure you get a lot of rest and don't overanalyze anything. Also, intake of vitamin C and vitamin D. You know, make sure you check your levels of vitamin C and vitamin D. And spirulina is very good, and organic food is very good. Try and stay away from processed foods and stick to organic foods. If you feel that you're, you know, really feeling terrible, get medical help. If you feel you're falling sick and there is a lot of discomfort, that goes without saying. But other than that, read spiritual books, you know. Use your free time, or when you are unable to speak to unable to sleep, sorry, use that time to, you know, maybe meditate or read certain spiritual books or chant or pray, learn something new. And basically stay away from excessive social media or any kind of disturbing news. In addition to that, certain behaviors that are going to sabotage your progress, or certain behaviors that are extremely uh, toxic in your healing journey, would be constantly obsessing over your twin flame, stalking your twin flame, wondering if your twin flame is awakening with you, like you, or not, constantly comparing your progress to that of your twin, healing, but with an intention to bring your twin back, and not because you have imbalances and blockages and you should be focusing on your own life. And even if the focus is there, it's only to bring your twin back. Obsessing about timelines, you know. So if you've got a reading done from someone, or if you listen to these audio messages, you get stuck onto the timelines and when they will contact you, refusing to give space to your twin. And, you know, even if they have blocked you from all kinds of social media, doing it under compulsion, that you have no choice but to give them space, and resisting your own healing, in other words. When, and the last toxic behavior is when your goal in life is not a union within, but it is a union with your twin. So putting conditions on healing, that if I do this, I need to see a result. That means I will heal and my twin is going to contact me and I will have a romantic union with my twin. But if I'm facing blockages, then there is a panic or fear that what if my romantic union will be delayed because of my blocks or because of my inability to heal. Now, all I can say is that, everyone is on a different path of healing, but the the role or the message or the responsibility of any guide or any real teacher is to show you both the paths. A real teacher will point the way but never show you what to see. What to see and what to discover is your path. But as a teacher or a guide, we have to tell you what are certain damaging behaviors and what you can avoid if you want to increase in your healing abilities. And, taking that advice or not is purely your call and your free will, because, like I said, some people, learn after a long period of time. Some people are quick to learn, so it's purely a very personal and private journey. But as a teacher, I always recommend and advise people to not be so obsessed about their twin flame and get a life of their own, and understand that, nothing needs to happen with conditions and attachments to results. So even the Bhagavad Gita, when it says that, karm karo or fal ki ichha na karo, which means focus on the karma and not on the fruit, that is basically trying to tell you that, when you don't care about the reward and when you're just doing your duty sincerely, the reward is evident. But anyways, I just want to get down to the final message now, and that is about the turbulent shakeups that we can expect in the last 6 months of 2020. Now, what I feel is that uh, between now and December 2020, there is going to be a major increase in the number of deaths and suicides all around the world. We can expect to hear some really shocking news from around the world. This could be shocking in any way, I don't know, but something that is, very upsetting, very painful, very shocking. And especially, I feel people in power who think they own the world, or that, no one can touch them and they control people, everything, they are the masters and no one can touch them, and those sorts of people who are just busy manipulating humanity and stuff like that. They will be all such people, whether they belong to politics or movies or in your private and personal lives. All such high handed people will be majorly humbled, like majorly. I also feel that, I see some sort of a death or assassination of a prominent political leader between July and Jan 2021. I don't know who this political leader is. It could be from any part of the world, but some sort of a death or an assassination is possible, whoever this prominent political leader is. I also see August 2020 and November 2020 as some breakthrough, major important months in some way. They can be breakthroughs in a positive way also, and there can be breakthroughs in a negative way also. One of the examples could be that, when I say August and November, it's an energy that I'm picking. Of course, time will tell whether I'm right or wrong, but I feel that there will be a breakthrough cure for COVID 19, for this pandemic, which will be out by August 2020. But the impact of the pandemic will end by November 2020. Again, this is something I strongly feel that, the cure for the pandemic will be ready. Some company will come up with a medicine by August, and the impact ends by November 2020. But like I said, there can also be some shocking events in a negative way between now and December 2020. In addition to that, the only thing positive I can say is that people who continue on their path of progress and inner healing without any hidden agendas, I have been saying this time and again, you are going to be majorly blessed. I feel that a lot of twins are going to be learning new skills, or setting their sights onto their goals and how they can expand in their spirituality, or in their professional lives in a way that helps humanity and themselves. This need not necessarily mean that you have to turn into a psychic or a Reiki healer only. The options are unlimited, but you will be following your heart and you will be learning new skills and you will be rewarded for it. My only request is that due to these intense energies and massive shifts, please don't make major financial investments of any sort in this period. Whatever new major expensive items you have to purchase or whatever important decisions you have to take, keep that for the new year of 2021. And that's all that I can say. And of course, if you have already made some sort of a purchase or lavish decision to buy something and it is in progress, then of course go with it. But my only request would be to avoid making any major investments or lending money to anyone. Just keep the money to yourself and don't save it, I mean, sorry, don't spend it in an unthoughtful way or something like that. Keep all your important decisions and investments for the new year of 2021. And that's about it. So I'm so grateful that you took out time to listen to me. I hope this message resonates with someone out there. And as always, anyone that is guided to connect with me, please feel free to visit my website. Because of these intense energies, I will be, reducing the rates for my readings, because that is what I have been guided to do, so that more and more people can benefit on their path, not just for their twin flame path, but also for their careers and their, inner healing in general. And on that note, thank you so much and have a great week ahead. And I will be back with another message soon. Lots of love and take care. Bye, guys.